Hello, welcome back to JR Oil Paintings 101. My name is Jeff Robinson, and today we're going to do a little, little wet on wet technique painting for you. As you can see, my canvas here is a little weird looking, kind of shaped like a daisy almost, but I'm going to do a little meadow scene, I think, today with this. Before we get started, I'll run through the colors we're going to use. We have the Blues Brothers, which is phthalo and Prussian blue. We got the greenies, sap green and phthalo green. We got Van Dyke brown, burnt sienna, black, alizarin crimson, red, cadmium yellow, yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and titanium white. I have the liquid white already on the canvas, ready to go. And we're just going to put in a nice little, fun little scene here, I think. We're going to give it a shot anyway, aren't we? See what we can do here. Before we get too far into this, I would like to thank everybody that has, what? Uh, subscribe to my painting. There we go. Subscribe to this channel. Sometimes my words just don't work too well. Anyway, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate each of you, every one of you, and I also uh, appreciate each and every one of you that just tunes in to watch. So give us a tune in some more. Here we go. We're going to just go back and forth here with a little phthalo blue. I'll put in a little sky here. About like so. That's a nice little even sky here. Let me put in a cloud or two. I see a couple of spots where a cloud would look good. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to have any water in this or not, but let's put some in just in case. So just if you're going to put water in, just nice flat strokes, level strokes. Try and keep them level. Just pull straight across, about like that. Same way on the other side. And then just back and forth it just a little bit. Take out some of the strokes, brush strokes. Now, I don't know if that'll become sky or part of the meadow. We'll figure it out as we go. Not sky. That's definitely not going to be sky. That's sky. I think it's going to be water or meadow. That's what I was trying to think of. Goodness gracious, tonight my words just ain't working too well today. That's all right. Y'all know what I was talking about. At least I think so. Yeah. We're going to put in a couple of clouds here. So we're using our number 3 fan brush. Like I've said before, that's a number 3 fan brush. That is a number 6 fan brush. See the difference? About half the size. So I like the way this number 3 does a cloud. It's pretty, makes pretty little clouds. All you got to do is think like a cloud. Where are you going to put him? We'll put him right here. Just tap him in. Just tap nice little cloud shape here. And we'll kind of taper him off over here. Maybe put a little bit of woofta up here. Go a little bit down that way. And with a clean dry brush, where's my clean dry brush? Clean dry. I'll do a 1-inch brush on this one. It's a little bitty painting here. You're just going to use that top corner of that little brush right there. And just start either side. And just little circles. Little bitty circles. Little circles. Not like that. We've had a thunderstorm this afternoon here in Texas. Hopefully we won't get any more tonight. But we've had a few today. Nothing too bad yet. So, all right, we're going to fluff this sucker up. Just do that again. Just fluff him up just a nice and light, gentle strokes back and forth here. The more you blend this out, the lighter he'll become because he'll pick up that color underneath him and he'll just become a little more blue. We like you, if that's what you like. Now, the reason I've blended him out a little bit more than I usually do is we're going to put one in front of him. And get a little bit lighter in front or a little lighter behind, and you can make a little darker one, a little whiter, little whiter cloud in front of him so he'll stand out. We're going to wipe the fan brush off just a little bit with a little A little bit of that blue it picked up. We'll get rid of it on a paper towel here and load it full of titanium white. That's all we got on the brush is titanium white. For quite a bit of it. He stands out there. Now we're just going to tap in another little cloud shape. Oh, somewhere around there. Leave a little bit of that dark in between those two, so separate them. I'm going to take a clean, dry brush and just little circles. You know, one side of the cloud, or one side of the brush here. And just little circles. Little circles, about like that. And we'll just fluff her up. Fluff her up. Back and forth, just very gentle. Very gentle. I'm about like that. I think that's a little nice little sky going on there. Yeah, then like I said, we're gonna put in, I think, a little meadow, maybe a little creek. I think a little creek. I like a little creek. I think we'll put a little creek in there, just cause we just had a meadow in there. I want to put a meadow. I think. You know what? I don't think we are gonna put a creek in this one. I'm thinking maybe we might put a little house or something in there, a little cabin. All right, we're gonna mix up a little bit of color here. We're gonna have a little bit of Prussian blue. Prussian blue is really dark, really pretty dark blue. Take a little of that, a little bit of sap green, a little bit of black, and a little bit of alizarin crimson. I'll just put all that on in a nice little pile here. Loosely mix this. Don't get it too tight. You want to have some variations of colors in here. So now then, we'll take old dirty brush here, or 1 inch, and we're going to tap in some color. I'm going to tap in a little bit of dark. Just tap it in the brush. It'll pick all those little flavors up you got in there. And then we're going to figure out how our meadow's going to be here, where we're going to have it. And I think we'll start right here. Just kind of give us some rolling hills. Got a big hill over here, up to the side, up there. Just remember that when you're going to put in your highlights, where them, remember the angles that you have here. If you go straight across, then you'll lose that rolling hill right there. We're going to tap in a few of these. Maybe we'll put in a little road right in this, somewhere in the middle of it here. Actually, screw the road. If we want to put a road in, we'll put it in there a little bit. We're just going to tap in a little bit more of this nice color. We'll see if we can't put some wildflowers or something in this. See if we can't make that work. Now then, we're going to stop right there for a second. We're going to get our other little 1 inch brush. We're going to tap in some highlights. We're going to go into some cad yellow, just plain old cad yellow for right now, and then we'll put in a little bit of liquid white, just to thin it out just a little bit. You don't want a lot, but just put in enough to thin it out a little. Add a little bit of liquid yellow ochre and a little bit of Indian yellow. We'll mix all those in the brush. We'll take just a little bit of phthalo blue. Mix it in there a little bit more, maybe. There we go. That's what I was looking for right there. Nice green color. Just tap it in your brush. Get a lot of paint on that brush. And just tap it in there. And now we'll go up here and now we went back and forth with the brush, wrote on the palette, and then we just tapped it in there. So you'll have a nice little ridge of paint there. Then we're just going to tap it in. Just tippy tap it in there. And remember, you can reload as necessary. If you're picking up a little too much paint, add a little bit more liquid white or thinner to it till your paint thin it out just a little bit more. Add all the colors, all the yellows to it. Every once in a while, just add a little more yellow ochre, Indian yellow to your brush, and it'll change the flavor up just enough to where you have a little variation of colors in here. And it'll pick up some of that dark underneath pretty regular, and just go in and reload your brush. Add a little bit more colors to it, a few more, as much color as you need on there or want on there. You may decide you want like a dirt road here somewhere. We'll put it in here a little bit. And if you want tall grass, just lift up, put it in there. You'll see some little grassy areas come up to the back. Maybe little tree-like substances coming up there. With this, just do that just a little bit, not much. If you overdo it, it's not going to look quite right for you. Just tap a little bit in there. If you don't like it, tap it out. Just keep tapping, and it'll pick up the color underneath, and you can start over with whatever you want in there. All right, just add a bit more blue there. Get a little more green to it. A bit of yellow ochre, a bit of Indian yellow to it. All on your brush. You see a little multitude of colors on that brush. It comes up here, and it appears in your grass. And just tap it in there. Tap, 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 tap. If you're getting too much, like I say, getting too much of that other color, the background color, just reload your brush and keep going like that. Remember, there's two sides to the brush. Just keep using both sides. Tap in a little bit more of that color, and we'll change the flavor of it just a little bit. Tap it in there. I'm like that. And just keep tapping. Tap, 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 tap. Change the way your land flows, just tap in a little bit different direction. And it'll change for you. Now, I'll go about like that. And a bit more liquid white in there just to get a little more, little thinner. And just tap in there. Just keep tapping in there. And then we'll do something else here in just a minute with that. Now, if you want some wildflowers in your painting, like I said we was going to do, the best way I've found is to get a couple different ways. One, it takes you forever to do. You can use your script liner brush and just tap them in there, or you can take your round brush. Let's just go with some red first. tap in a bunch of red. Get a little bit of liquid white in there. Tap it in there just to kind of thin it out just a little bit. And then to get you some wildflowers, let's say we have some bushes, some wildflowers here. You're just going to tap them in. Just tap some little red in there. And it'll be kind of like you have some red flowers back there on top of some of this, just way off in the distance. And if you want some other color, just tap it in to that color. You want some blue flowers? Get you some Prussian blue or phthalo blue. You just gotta tap it in there. Heck, we'll put in a little bit of Prussian blue with that, and you'll have some violet. Violet. A little more red. A little more red in there. There we go. A little bit of liquid white going into that. Oh yeah, that'd be pretty if it shows up. If it shows up, it's gonna be a really pretty color. We'll see if it shows up. Sometimes it does, sometimes it don't. Yeah, it's not really showing up too much here. Just tap those colors in. And if you want some yellow, little yellow flowers, you'll have to get rid of that, some of that color on your brush. The blue and the blue in there will make it turn green. Oh, we're just gonna wipe off a little bit of that color, and we'll start over with our other color here. We're gonna go into some just plain old yellow, just cad yellow, with a little bit of white, liquid white in there. And we'll just tap in a few of these. And you're just tapping with just a very little bit of brush. Just a little bit here and there. This is way back in the distance, so you're not going to be able to tell too much of what it is. It don't look like much of nothing right now, but it will maybe. I'll just tap a little bit of color in here. I think we're going to put a little house in here. So we're going to take our big brush. A big brush. It's not a brush. It is a palette knife. We're going to take the small palette knife because we got a small painting going here. Take that one. That's a small one. See, that's a small one. That's a big one. Ta-da! All right. First, we're going to scrape off where we're going to have our house. I think we should have our little house on the hill over here. And it's going to be kind of small because it's not a real big. Oh, we should put it. Maybe we should put it on the other side. Let's put it on the other side over here. You're just going to scrape out a little bit of house here. Oh, it don't look like much yet. But it will. If we do this right, it will. We're going to just take Van Dyke Brown. I'm going to start with the roof. And we'll try and make that about the same angle, just the other way. All right. You just want to angle about the same pitch here. If you have a different pitch on one side of your roof, it ain't going to look right. And then your house is going to fall apart. We're going to have the same angle back here in the back as you do in the front. Now I can connect the two ends. Straight as possible on the roof. Unless you want a dilapidated old building, which That'd be all right too if you want to put that there. We're going to try and do ours a little better today than just a dilapidated old building. And just block in some colors, basically all we're doing right here with it. Now figure out where your roof's going to end. I think it should end right about there. All right, my chair pops and creaks and groans sometimes. So do I, though, sometimes, so don't worry about that. There we go. I like that. And then back here. Don't go all the way to that back eave where your roof stops. Don't go all the way back there. Your roof's going to overhang just a little bit. But I like that. That's almost a building. Now let's put some color on him. I think we're going to go with some gray, kind of a grayish building today. So we'll take some titanium white, a little bit of black, and just a little bit of black. Depending on how dark you want your gray color. If you want a dark gray, then get a lot of black. If you want a lighter gray, not so much. We're going to have two tones of gray, one for our shadow, our low lights, one for our highlight here. That'll be for a highlight there. And we'll take part of that because we don't need all that for that. And just a touch more black to it. Darken that up just a little bit. If you get it too dark, just add some more white to it. Now then, you got to figure out where your light's coming from. We're going to start with our dark. I think this back eave over here is going to be the darkest part. So just very gently, just pull straight down. And just going to go like that. And then we're going to go with our highlights in the front. And just going to pull straight down there. And just something like that. I'm going to try and make it look like old boards here. So just take the tip of your knife with a little bit of paint on it and pull down. It'll be like old boards over there. Something like that. Let's put a roof on this house so they don't get wet if it rains. And I think for that, we're going to go into a little bit of red. Just good old red. With just a little bit of burnt sienna in it. I like the red roofs. Now, I don't put individual shingles on my roof because I just don't have the patience to do that. So we're just going to tap it in all the way down. About like that. About like that. That way it shows it has some shingle on it. And we got to remember the other side over here. He's got to have some roof dit too. So you're just going to just barely, just put a little color over there. There. Looks like he's got a roof on his house. But he ain't got no doors or windows. How's he gonna get in? I reckon we ought to put him a door. Be neighborly and just put a door right here. Just a nice little door. You can do one of two ways here, from here out. You can either leave it like that, which I don't like that, or we'll just put some black and make him have a nice little door here, right here. Let's put in some color. About like that. Then we're going to go with just a little bit of liquid white, and we'll just outline our door here, just so he'll know where it is if he comes home. I had too many adult beverages and can't see too well. And I think that's good enough for a far off house, don't you think? All right. And we'll take our brush with all the color on it, add a little bit of more color to it. So we're going to put him some grass around the foots of his house here. Don't worry if it picks up too much of the color. It'll just look like it's got some shadow, or looks like there's little shadow areas around it. That'd be good. So we got some little house here. So I think we should put him a little like I don't know, maybe a pathway so he can get out. I mean, or he can just tromp through the grass, I reckon. But nah, let's put him a little road here. Just a little path. This is just Van Dyke brown. We're just gonna rub it in there a little bit. Don't make it too straight. You make it too straight, it's gonna look like a cartoon. Yeah, maybe that's what you want. If you want a cartoon, let's make it nice and straight. But give him a little bit of brown here. I'll highlight this in just a minute. Yeah. For the highlight, we'll take a little bit of burnt sienna, a little bit of brown, maybe even just a little bit of yellow ochre in there, just to say it's in there. Then loosely mix those with just a little bit of white. There we go. You want all those variations of color when you come in and do your highlights. Put a little bit of highlight on into your knife, and then we'll just back and forth a little bit here. Just like that. Just graze it in there, and it'll pull off what it thinks needs highlighted and what doesn't. So you just have a little bit of highlight right in there. There we go. Now then, what should we do next here? I think we should have some trees. Can't have a little meadow without trees. Well, you could, but why? Right? So for today's trees, we're going to go with the oval brush. I like the oval brush for little trees. We're just going to tap in some of that color that we put down for the base of the grass. Just tap it in there and figure out where your trees are going to live. I think we're going to have some, yeah, right in here. We're just going to have some bushes here. They're up close. We're just going to put some bushes down here, and then I'll put in some trees that goes way over here. It'll look kind of interesting with the trees over that way. And we'll see how it works. Okay. Something about like that. I'm just going to tap a few little tree shapes in there. You can put them wherever you want them. If you don't want too many trees, don't put any in. Now, I'm just going to keep doing like that. Just keep tapping them, tapping them in there. And just keep it going. And fill this up with some trees and some bushes and whatnots. I'll put little trees right in there. You don't know where his little pathways going, do you? I started out with a meadow. I thought I was going to put some wildflowers. My wildflowers didn't really work too well. So we're just going to tap in a few trees and bushes instead. You can change your mind all throughout this painting what I like about oil painting so much. You can change your mind even a couple of days after you start a painting or say it's finished, because oil paints take so long to dry. You got plenty of time to decide what you want to do with it and keep on a trucking. If you don't like what you're doing, you can always change it. I'm going to take my script liner brush. That's a little one. We'll put a little thinner on it, and a little bit of that highlight color we made the trail out of. It's a burnt sienna, a little yellow ochre, and white. We're going to put some trunks in some of these suckers so you know exactly what it is. We're going to put a little tree trunk right there. And we're going to have a little. I'm going to do another painting here in just a little bit. That's going to be a black canvas. Let's see if we can't show you how to do it. Oh, I don't know. Something with a little mountain, maybe another northern lights scene or something like that. Let me just put a few of these little doodigers in here. It doesn't matter how many you put in. You don't have to put any if you don't want to. We'll scratch a few in here a little bit anyway. So let me put a few. It might show. Something like that. Nothing too big. So now then we'll take our other brush without any color on it, and we'll start highlighting some of this stuff. Now I think we'll start with the tree because I like the trees. And we're just going to tap in a little bit of liquid white, a little bit of yellow ochre, a little blue in it, a little cad yellow, Indian yellow, all the yellows, and all that good stuff over here. And we'll start with this. I think we'll start with this little tree over here. Just tap in a tree shape. He's going to be right there. And then we'll just tap in a little bit of color underneath him. He's way off in the distance, so he ain't going to be too noticeable. And then we'll do the same thing over here. I Arapataptui on this one. Yeah, basic tree shapes. And if your paint's not sticking, just thin it out just a little bit with either liquid of white or thinner. If you use thinner, use it very lightly. Don't put a whole lot on there because that thinner will thin your paint out real well, and then you'll have all kinds of stuff in there you really don't want. It'll be a mud mixer basically. You get it too. Anyway, we're just going, if it gets too thin, there we go. I'm just going to keep tapping in. Now I think we'll pull this tree a little bit over here, across here. There we go. Now we'll put a little green bush right around here as feet. And then over here. I like that. And then we're going to go a little bit of liquid white, a little bit of red, and tap in just a bit of red color in there. Leave a little bit of shadow under that tree there. There'll be some dark there. That much tree showing. There'll be a lot of dark in there. A lot of tree. So there'll be a lot of shadow in there. And we'll mix in a little bit of yellow, cad yellow, with that red. Make a little orangish color. And we'll put that right here. Just vary the colors and vary the shapes. You can go back and forth with any color, any shape. That's a good thing about this kind of painting. You can decide what you want on your property. If you like a lot of little bushes, not very many bushes, no bushes, just grass, that's all you got to do. just going to put in a few here. It's going to turn a little bit green here with all those colors we got. And then we just put in a few more bushes here. And there we go. This is kind of a simple painting, but we're not quite done yet. But we're getting there. We're going to tap in just a little bit of grass under this guy's foot. Right there. And we're going to take our big knife. And again, we'll scratch in a few trunks and twigs and sticks. Kind of keep it in the dark areas there, where you think there might be a branch in a trunk or whatever that's holding up all your leaves. Something's got to be there holding all that stuff up. I just really kind of like this shape of a canvas. I found this at Michael's. They had all kinds of shapes and sizes, so figured I'd try it and see what it looked like. And we'll tap in a few here, maybe a couple at this one's foot. Not like that. And then maybe a couple over here. Not like that. And I think this is a pretty, like I said, a pretty simple one. It's a really small canvas, so it didn't take long to paint it, but it uses the same techniques we've been using on the bigger ones. And they are a little bit cheaper than the big paintings. I mean, the big canvases. Of course, the big canvas ain't a whole lot of money either, but you do have, you don't use as much paint and stuff on these little ones as you would the big ones. So it's just up to you. I mean, you decide what you want to do it. I'm just here to give you some ideas and little techniques here and there, and show you how I do stuff. So here we go. We're going to sign this little fella, and I just signed mine in blue. Of course, it ain't coming through because there's a lot of paint right there, so it's going to turn green on me. Gets with that yellow in there and turns green. Anyway, we got this right here. And if you, like I said before, if you hadn't subscribed, I would appreciate if you would. And those of you that have subscribed, I do appreciate you. But I do appreciate all of you, or even the ones that just tune in. If you don't subscribe, I still appreciate you. It does mean a lot to me that you tuned in. And then I put a little 2 and a 6 above it, so I know what year I painted this little dude. And there we go. Now, if you like my paintings or you want one, slide on over to my website, jroilpaintings.com. And I have a few of them up there. I should have some more up there before too long. I can wait until a couple of them get a little drier, and then I'll put them up there. But for this one, I think I'm going to call that one done. There's really not too much to it, but I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed painting for you. Anyway, I think I'll sign off for now and talk to you shortly.